Daily market recap for Thursday, February 24th, 2022. Let's go.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is a daily market recap for Thursday, February 24th, 2022. As always, let's start off in the Discord room. And I want to kind of give credit to everybody in the room who's been involved, understand what's going on with the markets. We were expecting, sell the rumor, buy the news, looking for entries and up plays in the market and market risk. We're also not surprised that metals were profit taking because, again, if you don't know Jesse Livermore, a reminiscent stocker operator, don't understand how the market makers work, or totally confused how the news does this and then the action does this, then there's a lot to learn. And so what I tell people, and what I said right before I post this, and like this reminds me of the old days when you explain to people how things work, and they might be earlier, a day off, or something's not perfect, but they get frustrated, confused, lose money, and then they don't learn from their mistakes. And the next thing you know, they quit shortly after. You have to realize that when things get hard, the champions work harder. They don't give up. If you give up on trying to understand the markets because it doesn't seem logical to you, or it's because you don't understand it, it's no different than like when I started. I didn't understand the markets. They weren't easy. It wasn't like it was someone gave me a book and said, this is how it works. I mean, think of how many people go to college, get an education, and then realize like that was just the entry into the market. So, I mean, and just in general, just trading isn't easy. So, I don't know. I'm so amazed sometimes how people get frustrated with the market and they blame the market. It's like, no, blame yourself. Want to be better, want to understand, want to know more. Don't look for shortcuts. Try to figure all this all out. So let's jump into Bitcoin. We talked about this, man, the VAP zone potentially rejecting. Don't be surprised if you double bottom or retest or make a higher low. Well, we didn't make a new low, but look at that, a higher low. Look at the volume today. Now, again, if this stuff doesn't seem so obvious to you after watching these videos and you've watched dozens and dozens and dozens of this stuff, then ask more questions, get involved, because volume matters. Price action matters. I mean, you're going to see this in this video constantly about double bottoms, retest, the psychology. And guess what? We're retesting the lows. Now, if you bought Bitcoin again, great. If you took some profits, you hedged, you reloaded down here, congratulations. You followed the method. You did not chase the highs and you waited for pullbacks. Like, that's the kind of shit that gets you paid, not just over trading. TLT, again, do I even need to talk about the invasion? Because, again, it's just a news. It's a part of the market news. Sell the rumor, buy the news. That's usually like, sell the war, buy the invasion. I mean, like all these little cliche conversations are repeating patterns, not because of I said so. That's just what the market does. Liquidity matters. When the big money needs to sell, they do it into great news. When big money needs to buy, they do it on the worst news possible. And if you cannot wrap your head around that and feel like Chicken Little, and when the sky's falling, you're freaking out, and when everything's high, you can't be more confident, then you are going to get your ass kicked trading. TLT, 20-day, popped, surprise, nope. We talked about the double bottom. We talked about the retest of this area. Nice bounce, hit the 20-day. Of course, 20 days acting as resistance. This stuff should be so obvious. You should be able to see this in time. And if you can't, practice. The dollar, what did we say? It needed to break the 100-day, get below this little blue box. Well, what happened? It popped on the news today. And look at that. It hit channel high and failed. Now, again, picking the price to a perfect, like trying to expect perfect price entries when the VIX is in the 40s, 30s, whatever, is not easy. Just don't be that stupid. That kind of volatility permeates around irrational behavior. Irrational behavior sells and pukes all over the place, buys and chases all over the place because they don't know what they're doing. So if you're trying to predict the price to a certain point, you are just, man, you are making trading really hard. You got to look at the areas. Sometimes they're perfect, sometimes they're not. The VIX, what we talk about, crash underway risk. I didn't believe it, but guess what? I was a day late. It popped, went higher. Luckily, we had some other trading positions to take on. We'll talk about them, but that worked out. And one of them was shorting the UVXY. Again, when the VIX spikes into the mid 30s, your boy is shorting that shit. And look what happens. You got up to the 21 area, and then it's almost free money, because I don't think this Russia shit is a real war. Ultimately, I think China is the boondoggle, because Russia's GDP, global GDP, is minuscule compared to China. If they cut us off, then we got issues. Let's get into the SPY, because this is what is amazing about people today. Everyone is freaking out, panicking, end of the world. I'm looking at this SPY going, okay, I thought there was a double bottom, but the IWM to me has been the leader. So keep in mind, notice how the SPY peaked in January, right? When did the IWM peak? Do you know? If you don't know the answer to this stuff, then watch this video. Please continue. The IWM peaked in November, friends. The IWM leads. Notice what it did today. A perfect double bottom at 188. I thought yesterday was a good buy because it was I was anticipating a higher low. And ultimately, if you look at the action, the volume wasn't signifying a big dumper. It holds. Now you're up here at the levels. Look at that big green candle. If you watch this channel, you're paying attention, you're happy as a clam. We'll roll back into the SPY real quick, because there's some obvious stuff going on here that if you look out further, you can see. We'll start on the monthly. I did not anticipate a close below this month's low, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can have long wicks. Like, keep in mind, like, sometimes in bottoms you have long wicks on the red candles. I thought this area would hold. Wrong. I am wrong. You were wrong. We'll all be wrong. But look at today's action. Like, that is a big green up candle. Now, doesn't necessarily, now don't chase this. Please don't chase it. Don't be surprised if you get some backfills the next couple days. That's just the nature of the beast. But be aware, like, we're pretty oversold. I mean, if you look at the monthly again on the SPY, that's 2 straight months of just before, the wick of down. I still think at some point we get lower. I mean, I sold some 400 puts today, but I think that's way below this old trend line of 408, 410. I think that'll probably happen in March at some point, but I could be wrong. And that's where you have to play the probabilities in your mind and go, all right, well, I think the market's a buy here because of the action. Okay, well, if you understand the action, then you know it is a buy. When the news is going crazy and everyone's freaking out, that's when everyone's wrong. And when everyone's wrong, that's the greatest time for the market makers to unload. And so, or buy. Think about it. If you're big money and you've been shorting, this is the news you have to cover on, because you need the liquidity. Because if you try to short it on a day that has no news, I mean, you're going to see a market go absolutely bananas, like a major short squeeze. You don't want to get squeezed if you're smart money. Again, IWM, if you're paying attention, I've been talking about buying this, and I was a day early. Didn't mean I gave up on it. I watched the action this morning. Was like, well, I know where I'm getting out at. I know where also I need to be adding. Added a little bit, traded. It took 4 points here. Got most of my position still holding on to it. I'm not super worried about, because I think the IWM is going to bottom. I am becoming more bullish, and it's amazing. People they cannot wrap their head around being a contrarian or doing opposite of what everyone else is doing. Like, I feel very little comfort following the masses. And if you follow the masses, you should feel the same way. You don't have a lot of comfort because the masses are wrong. The Qs, this one was, again, I'm telling people, like, if you were a long tech, check out, take a couple of years off. If you traded between 2002 and 2006, you remember tech lagged. I am not going to be using the Qs as a indicator for the market strength, even though it did bounce today. But just remember, it's making lower lows. And remember when the SPYs made new highs in January? This didn't. It's going to be an underperformer. It just is what it is. It doesn't mean that Tesla can't bounce 200 points or, whatever tech stock you like can't bounce 10 or 15%. It's just, I don't think we're making new highs in NASDAQ. We'll see if I'm right or see if I'm wrong. Record this video, 2/24/2022. You'll know. Gold. All right, another rant. Fuck me for everybody who just will not be like, who cannot understand that if everybody loves gold on a news event, you better be aware that it's probably sell the news. It's not like we're 166 to 180. Oh, wow. Yeah. Gold's up $160 an ounce. I don't give a fuck what the news is. Trade it. You have to, or just don't be surprised. Like some, people are like, hey, should you buy the dip this morning? Like, fuck no. Like It needs to digest. I hate the straight line moves. I've told people that a billion times. Anytime you see the straight line move, do not be surprised if it chops shortly after or pulls back. Can we call this a straight line move? I can't. Every single day was freaking green, basically. All right, pulls back. Not a surprise. Also said, watch the 175 area. Notice we hit the 8-day perfectly and bounced off it. Not that bad, you know? Like, just look at this thing. Look. Anyway, I'm not going to get too much into it because I feel like if you come to the Discord and we talked about this, like, you cannot be surprised that gold sells off once the news hits. But this is what I will say. If you studied the past, which I know most people are just coming here for the free answer, I'm going to give you the answer. I don't have the futures up on this. But if you watch gold from 2002 to 2000, like when it bottomed, it took some time, man. It's going to get volatile. I don't see gold going to like 5,000, because if gold's going to 5,000 in a straight line, then something crazy is going on. At this point, like, the rules of the market are the same, but we did break the monthly downtrend. So just be patient. Every day, every week, every pick is not an up move. If you were holding on to gold expecting every day to be up, I don't know what to tell you, because that is a straight line move. I'm not surprised it got sold. Same with silver here. I'd like the breakout of the 200 day, no doubt. No freaking doubt. But when it popped this morning, and then I realized, just like everyone else as you should, this news probably can't get much worse. The only thing that could get worse is if China goes after Taiwan. Then I think you got beef. It popped this morning, not surprised. Precious metals got slammed. But if you check the Discord room, we talked about this very clearly. Like, do not be surprised if they pull back and then bounce. The markets are going to go a little higher. Are going to continue to rise. I don't think the metals are not going to get sold off. When I say sell off, I mean you're not getting back to 20. Maybe you're hanging out in the 22s before you continue higher. Maybe today is a one-day thing where it just starts the continuation. It shook out and continues higher. I mean, let me see if there's a... Yeah, I mean, you had that was a shakeout kind of day. Oh, man, just ruined that. Let me see some uptrends, because you can see this kind of action. Here you go. Like a big up day, you know, gap, big red day. That was obviously a portending sign of pain. Yeah, anyway, it can happen in the charts. I mean, probability say what? Be careful. That's all I'm going to say. GDX, miners, again, if you're over leveraged this stuff, look at the levels. Look at the levels, look at the fib, look at the fib that hit, look at the fib that hit, 0.618, not surprised, backed off. But look where it closed, 5-day range. Everybody who bought up there was wrong. Everybody who sold below it's wrong. Everybody who's been hanging out here and buying the 34s, I would say, didn't even realize today happened. They might be like, what happened? What happened? GDXJ, another example of the miners, yeah, pop, pulling back. Again, watch the 100-day. Chasing, I hate chasing. I tell people, do not chase. You might miss a move, but you also might be putting yourself in a position to eat shit. And take the eating the shit position off of the table. And trading is not that hard. And that means just don't chase. What's up, Kat? You just don't chase, man. You just don't chase. I'll say it again. You just don't chase. AEM CEO departure, which is, I'm not surprised. No one's surprised by this move. Freaking KL CEO is going to move forward. Look where it hit, the 50-day. 50-day hit perfectly. Like, if you're following these stocks, you know these levels. Congratulations if you bought. AG. Man, everybody and their mom watched the highs, didn't hold, chilling. I just want to see a higher low. I mean, I know this is probably a very steep trend line, but hold that. But notice if it comes back to this 50-day, 20-day, now you buy. This is the shit I'm saying. Don't chase. Wait for dips. Gosh, it's like a broken record. People just cannot do it. Like, they see headlines, they react. They're like Pavlov's dog. Bearish. Everything, the world's ending. Sell my stocks. Oh, everything's great. Buy stocks. No, they can never do the opposite. Pass, wide and loose. Chopping, chop, chop, chop. Let's get into some of the names that we talked about buying this morning. Letter X, nice buy. Look where it closed. I mean, this day, how can you be bearish after today's action? I know the volume isn't like amazing, but opened at the lows, closed at the highs, at the 200-day. This is the kind of stuff materials are leading. That is amazing. VALE, this is another one we've talked about. If you ever see the 20-day on the stock or the lower end of channel, you buy it. And look what happened. Remember, it can go lower with the higher VIX. VIX means volatility, means wide and loose action. Someone went, bleh, and it closed back at the highs. VALE is acting strong. CCJ, another one that's on the special list. Opens at the low, closes at the high. Looks good. Keep in mind, higher lows. When you look at tech, you're going to see lower lows and pops. That to me is not as strong as higher lows and pops. Just keep that in mind. And if you are this far in the video, slap a like while you're thinking about it. I appreciate it. Speaking of tech, let's get into the wreck that is the tech. AMD. AMD filled the gap. AMD has been acting better than some of the other tech names. Nice work. Again, if you literally could have thrown a dart at the board and during the panic selling this morning and bought stuff and it did well. AMD, nice work. 20-day. Keep it simple. Apple. You know, this one is interesting because on a day like today, when it hit the 200-day, which, again, a lower low, be aware. I would think this thing would be up and even higher, but is what it is. Closed up $2. It just got totally barfed. 200-day. If you know the levels, you know the stocks, man, you should be doing pretty well. MicroStrategy, we talked about this when Bitcoin broke. Well, guess what? Gap down, closed at the high. Nice. I like that it's making a higher low. It's better than some of these other. I mean, like when you look at Apple, for example, that is not ideal. Like I don't want to see a lower low for Apple. I know it closed back over, but that means at some point there's still enough sellers to take it lower. I just hope that makes sense. Roadblocks, what's up, Scotty boy? Buying some of this morning. I mean, again, you could have thrown a dart. I mean, close at the highs, nice work. I mean, you just could have bought anything. It's go grab the Scrabble bag, pull forward 3 tiles or 4 tiles, whatever you prefer. And as long as it wasn't GLD or SLV or a minor, you probably did pretty well today. Maybe not all of them. We'll get into some of them, but here's another one. RIVN, nice pop. I mean, tech. Some of this tech stuff was due to bounce. Tesla, I mean, have I not been warning you to leave it the fuck alone? Well, guess what? Today was the day that it got smashed, and guess what? It was a buying opportunity. I didn't, put an alert out at 700, but I'd still say you should probably be careful with it because guess what? If it comes back to 900, that's still bearish to me because you're out of the channel. You are out of the channel. The surfing of the channel is over. Keep that in mind. PENN Gaming, another one, just pull 4 tiles. Looks good. This one's making a higher low. This isn't Tesla making lower lows. Hope people are noticing that. I'm not trying to say PENN's better than Tesla, but PENN could act better than Tesla. Hey, what up? Eric killed this one. Double bottom, nice buy. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I don't know how else to be entertaining without being like, just be honest. Like, look, double bottom. We talked about retesting the bottom. If you bought that dip this morning, you are loving that action. 22 to 28. I'm not a math wizard, but I know that's a great percentage. Actually, I used to be a math wizard. My brain has lost some of those brain cells. There's math in my brain somewhere, but that's a great return. I mean, pretty sure most people know that's almost a 20% range today. That's what VIX does. That's what a high VIX does. UTHR. Okay, if you watch the trend lines, today's action, I'm pretty sure not good. But what do you do now? That's the probably bigger question. Let's scroll in a little deeper. Oh, it's just a 20-day. I mean, this thing was at 70, went up to 220. Not surprised. Pulling back. Looks... I would be watching the monthly. Now, again, people can't do it. They're Zoom watching the 10-minute. They can't wrap their head around it, but that looks interesting to me. We'll keep an eye on that one. Let's end it on the oil names because what happened today? Wasn't there some oil stuff involved with Ukraine? Oh, yeah, duh. Chop. Now I've said a billion times, and I drew this trend line yesterday. I'm like, watch the trend line. Didn't break over it. Could it be like a complex, like, I don't even know what you would call this. I don't even want to say it's a cup and handle. Let's just say it's a pennant. But I don't even know. Again, like there's times where the formations aren't very clear, so you zoom out. if you look at the monthly, you're not even thinking twice about it. You're like, oh yeah, it bottomed here and it's making higher highs over the 50-day or 50-month. But if you look at the daily, it's just a fucking mess. And that's where I tell you, like, short-term candles means a lot more confusion. ExxonMobil. You know what I say about straight line moves? Did we talk about that? Oh yeah, we did. We talked about that 20 minutes ago. Be wary of them. They usually sell off. Look at Exxon's freaking range. It was the channel. Interesting. I hope this kind of stuff helps. I know there's a lot of people who are paying attention. Oh, let's go into actually bonus time. LVMLH said you could short up here. Drop. Steel D. This is one we've always liked. Yeah, look at that action. I mean, relative performance. NASDAQ, new lows. Steel D. What happened? Like, what day is it? Was there something going on? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you can even say that about XOP. Like, if you watch, since December, what's been hanging out? All right, bonus time's over. Please pay attention to the relative performance. If you have questions, stop by the Discord room. Please share, like, subscribe, whatever. I mean, if you know someone who really could use help like this, it's free. And usually free is crap, but I'm actually trying to provide some free content at this point. It might not be free forever, so it is what it is. It's a nice little, I would say it's a nice little game for me to help me pay attention to the markets, because there are times where I'm not lasered in, but knowing I have a group of people that are relying on me, and it's like when I used to be a financial advisor, it's just knowing that I have them paying attention helps, because they rely on my expertise. But ultimately, I want 100 other traders that have the same expertise I do, and so then it's like having a team of people. I mean, it reminds me of a lot of the past, let's just call it that, where a lot of people working together to help each other out. All right, life changes, things change, and the market closes. So does this video. It ends right now. Peace.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.